Welcome to Bipolar Talks, the channel where we dive deep mindfully into the lived experiences, science, and stories behind bipolar disorder. If you're new here, or if you've been following along for a while, take a deep breath, settle in, and let's have a real conversation about something many people still don't quite understand. Today's episode is titled Depression and Bipolar, Deeper Than You Think. This isn't just about feeling sad. It's not just about having a bad day or being moody. This is about a kind of depression that cuts differently, that hides behind manic highs, that can go unnoticed even by the person experiencing it. Bipolar depression is not just sadness. It's a crash, a fog, and a weight that feels impossible to lift. In this powerful episode of Bipolar Talks, we explore the lesser-known side of bipolar disorder, the deep, chronic, and often misunderstood depression that comes with it. We go beyond the surface to explain how bipolar depression feels, and why it's different from regular depression, why it's often misdiagnosed, and the danger that brings. The difference between bipolar I and bipolar II depressive episodes, suicide risks, treatment gaps, and what recovery can really look like. How loved ones can support someone during bipolar depression. So before we go any further, take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who might need it. Let's grow this community of understanding, empathy, and mindful conversation together. Let's begin. When people hear bipolar, they often picture someone jumping from happy to sad in a flash. But that's not what bipolar disorder really is, and especially not the depressive side of it. Bipolar depression is often misunderstood, even more than mania. It isn't just being sad. It's heavy. It's dark. It's often paralyzing. And unlike unipolar depression, it carries its own signature, the contrast, the fall. After a manic or hypomanic episode, where thoughts race, energy is boundless, and everything feels too alive, the crash into depression feels like the light has been switched off. There's a term many people with bipolar use, the crash. And that's exactly what it feels like. Have you ever been at the top of a roller coaster just before the drop? Imagine that drop lasting not seconds but days, weeks, sometimes months. That's bipolar depression. Have you ever felt that kind of crash? Let us know in the comments. We're listening. Let's go deeper, because that's what this episode promises. Bipolar depression isn't just low energy and sadness. It's a unique experience that includes profound fatigue even after long sleep, cognitive fog, where simple tasks feel monumental, physical heaviness as if your body is made of lead, hopelessness deep and consuming, sometimes with no clear trigger, loss of pleasure where nothing feels enjoyable, even things that once brought joy, guilt and shame often irrational, about things from the past or nothing specific at all. But here's what's important. This kind of depression often coexists with memories of mania, and that contrast can be devastating. When you've been on top of the world, and then you can't get out of bed, that emotional whiplash can feel unbearable. Here's something many don't realize. Bipolar depression often lasts longer than mania. In fact, studies suggest that people with bipolar disorder spend 3 times more time in depression than in mania or hypomania. And yet, it's underdiagnosed and undertreated. Why? Because it doesn't look dramatic. Because it looks a lot like regular depression. Because people, and even doctors, can miss the bigger pattern. That's why understanding bipolar depression isn't just helpful. It's life-saving. Have you ever had your depression misread? Drop a comment. Your experience might help someone else feel seen. Here's another layer. In bipolar I, people experience full-blown manic episodes. These can be extreme. Hospitalization, psychosis, risk-taking behavior. The depression in bipolar I often feels like a steep fall from a chaotic high. In bipolar II, there are no full manias, only hypomania. But here's the twist. The depression in bipolar II can be even more chronic and debilitating. It can last longer, occur more often, and feel just as severe, if not more so, because there's no towering mania to offset it. Many people with bipolar II suffer for years thinking they have just depression, until someone finally connects the dots. That's why we say, depression and bipolar is deeper than you think. We can't talk about this without being honest. The suicide risk in bipolar disorder is 20 to 30 times higher than in the general population. And most of that risk comes during depressive episodes. It's not about attention seeking. It's not about weakness. It's about unbearable pain. It's about believing in that moment that relief is impossible. If you're listening to this and you've ever had those thoughts, you are not alone. And help exists. Please reach out to someone. Call a friend. Speak to a professional. Stay with us. Your story matters. Your life matters. Many people ask, why did I fall into depression? Sometimes the answer is obvious, a breakup, job loss, stress. But other times it just happens. Here's what can contribute to a bipolar depressive episode. Sleep disturbances. Even one night of poor sleep can trigger a swing. Seasonal changes. Hormonal shifts, especially in women. Substance use. Coming down from a manic or hypomanic episode. Stopping medication. And sometimes there is no clear trigger. That unpredictability is one of the hardest parts of this illness. Now here's where it gets tricky. Treating bipolar depression isn't the same as treating regular depression. In fact, using antidepressants alone can trigger mania in some people with bipolar. That's why mood stabilizers are the cornerstone of bipolar treatment. Medications like lithium, lamotrigine, and atypical antipsychotics are often used to target the depressive phase safely. But it's not just about meds. Therapy matters too, especially approaches like CBT, DBT, and interpersonal therapy. Understanding your own patterns can be powerful. The problem? Many people are misdiagnosed with major depression and put on antidepressants without a mood stabilizer. That's a recipe for chaos. Have you ever experienced this treatment gap? Your story could help raise awareness. Feel free to share in the comments below. Here's the truth. Living with bipolar depression means learning to watch for early signs, building routines, and practicing radical self-compassion. Some helpful strategies include sleep hygiene, going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, mood tracking, using apps or journals to notice patterns, connection, staying in touch with a support system, even when you want to isolate, creative expression, art, writing, music, it can all be therapeutic, gentle movement, not intense workouts, just walking, stretching, breathing. It's not about curing it. It's about managing it with grace, with tools, with hope. If you're listening as a loved one, friend, or partner of someone with bipolar disorder, thank you. Here's what you can do. Believe them. The depression is real even if you can't see it. Avoid cheering up advice. It's not about willpower. Offer presence. Sometimes just sitting beside them is enough. Learn the signs. You might see a dip before they do. Encourage treatment, gently, without pressure or judgment. Your role matters more than you know. We'll end with this. Yes, bipolar depression is deeper than people think. It's complex. It's painful. But it's also navigable. People live full lives with bipolar disorder. People find meaning, love, careers, and creativity. You are not broken. You are not beyond help. You are not alone. And together, through awareness, understanding, and community, we can break the stigma and light a path forward. If today's episode spoke to you, helped you, or made you feel seen, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's keep these conversations going. Let's build a mindful space where healing begins with understanding. And remember, this YouTube video is for informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult a qualified mental health professional for any concerns or symptoms you may be experiencing. Thanks for joining me on Bipolar Talks. Be well, stay mindful, and see you in the next episode.